morning. My name is El Shaddai Smith-Mensa, and I am the Product Development Lead at Canopy, a startup nonprofit that is trying to grow businesses that have a social or environmental mission. And this is the perfect opportunity for us to keep our awesome conversations about good business in a time where we're not able to see each other and interact in person. But this is a live show. Exciting. So please drop your questions. Please be a part of the conversation. We would love to hear from you. And this morning, I get the opportunity to talk to Delene Taylor, Marketing Director of DMLO, longtime Canopy supporter and board member, and just an advocate for social enterprise, especially in the city of Louisville. So good morning, Delene.
Good morning. How are you?
How are you? Oh, I'm okay. I was talking to the team a little earlier. I think I finally mastered my morning routine, so I'm pretty energized today, ready for the rest of the week.
This is early for me, unfortunately. I've switched to second shift.
Oof, yeah. And it's crazy that we all have such different routines, but productivity looks so different, and especially the career. So you work at an accounting service, and this is the craziest year for tax season and accounting. How's that going?
Fortunately, accounting firms, I think, are a little bit better off than some other companies, businesses, because we are already very invested in technology and have the ability to work off site, when we're out at a client engagement. So it's been a shift, definitely. I mean, childcare, obviously, in the mix is a complication. But in terms of actual access to the information we need and the ability to work offsite, I think we're better prepared than a lot of businesses might be. So our work is continuing. We are communicating more than ever with our clients right now. Obviously, there's so many questions about all the changes that have happened. And so we spend a lot of time just, writing blog posts, sending out e-blast, answering phone calls. The work is definitely continuing. I look with envy at some of these people that are learning a new language or planting a new garden or, taking on some wonderful new hobby that, there just isn't a lot of time for in the accounting world right now. But it's exciting that we're able to continue serving people and helping clients, because obviously that's where our value lies and that's where we want to be right now. So
yeah, and what an important position. I look at you guys with envy that you understand all of the stuff happening with SBA loans and all of the crazy changes. It's like I'm listening to it on my podcast and I'm just one step too slow. So thank you for doing all of that great work. And so yeah, how has that been? Working with your clients?
Yeah, I mean, it's been okay. I mean, for some of us, I think, for me, for example, I don't do a lot on the financial or tax side personally. So my world has shifted from a lot of events and being out interacting with people one-to-one to sitting in front of a screen like I am right now. And it was fine for the first couple of weeks. I kind of enjoyed, being at home and not having to commute and being able to wear comfy pants. But I'm kind of missing the face-to-face interaction. I don't do that well with just sitting in front of a computer screen all day long. So I'm ready for the world to open back up.
Right. No, I'm the same exact way. I'd so much rather have this conversation in person, but I'm very happy that technology allows us to connect in this way. But I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are probably watching this right now. So do you have any advice for them on how to adapt or how to keep up with all of these crazy changes happening in accounting or business?
I think that you just need to find the sources of information. We have, and a lot of businesses have a COVID resource center set up online where you can go and kind of find all the information in one place. I think you need to find your reliable sources, obviously, the U.S. Treasury Department, the IRS, a reputable accounting firm. and go there to get your information, to get familiar enough with what's going on to kind of know what questions you need to ask. And then, get online with your CPA, your accountant, your business advisor, and just go down your list of questions. And then, there's always going to be questions you probably didn't think of. And hopefully that person will be able to bring those up in the conversation too. So I think it's just, don't shy away from it. I think it can be overwhelming and people can just want to stick their head in the sand and not pay attention to it. But I think you definitely need to stay abreast of what's going on. And if you are so overwhelmed that, you're reading words on a page and it's not making any sense, I think you should actually just pick up the phone and call somebody and let them walk you through it. So.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Delene, if I ever have questions, I'm picking up the phone and talking to you. So get ready. And audience members, please, if you have any questions, drop them in. We're keeping track of it, and I would love to ask it for you. DMLO is such a great organization. I know you guys have just won 2 pretty big awards, and you just always seem to be showing up for the community. So right now in this COVID-19 world, how is DMLO showing up for the community or environment?
So like you said, we kind of do that year round. You mentioned the awards, and I'll probably talk about one of them more in a little bit. But one of the awards that we just found out that we are going to be honored with is the best places to work in Greater Louisville. And I'm pretty excited about that one. We've not applied for that one before. So this was the first time, and I wasn't sure. I had a good feeling about it, but I wasn't sure. And so it was really exciting to get that call from Business First and learn that we were going to be one of the honorees. And then I have not actually heard about this one yet. I think they're going to be releasing the names of the companies later this month or early next month. But we've definitely won 4 different years the Partners in Philanthropy Award, which recognizes the top 10 most generous companies in each category, small, medium, and large. And so we fall into the medium category, and being on that top 10 list, we're at the low end of that revenue stream, so it's in the 10 to 50 million, and we're at the lower part of that. So being on that list with companies that are much bigger than us is pretty exciting, and not only for our cash contributions, which is how the list is actually ranked. We've had over $100,000 in cash contributions in those years, but also for volunteer hours. They don't rank based on volunteer hours, but they do include that. And I was just doing the calculation for this year's submission, and we had over 6,000 volunteer hours in one form or the other we have a staff of about 90 people. So it's a pretty big commitment to investment in the community. And that is everything from, board service. I serve on, of course, the Canopy board, the Morton Center board, the Network of Entrepreneurial Women board. So a lot of nonprofit service. And also we celebrate our anniversary each year with a day of service. So we send all of our staff and teams out to nonprofits in the area, and they serve however, the nonprofit has requested help that day. So there are a lot of different ways. Then we have teams that participate in different fundraisers. We bowl with the Big Brothers Big Sisters for Bowl for Kids' Sake, and then we just do a lot of fundraisers, where dinners, lunches, breakfast, where we buy a table and staff go to that. So there's just a lot of different ways that we invest back in the community. And then from a startup and entrepreneur stage, we invest by hosting free open office hours. We have a partnership with iHub, the U of L Fort Center for Entrepreneurship, and I have a space over at Story Louisville. So we hold open office hours there. And so we do a lot of helping entrepreneurs get started. And my particular passion and interest is social enterprise. And fortunately, we're seeing a lot of entrepreneurs in Louisville that are social entrepreneurs. And so that's exciting for me to be able to work with all these people and to help them get, their books set up, their payroll set up. And they may not be able to afford a full-time accounting person to start with, and that's fine. We help them get set up and automate as much as we can through bank feeds and such, so that they can kind of run things on their own, or with maybe the help of a part-time person, family member to get going. And then we're just there, we're available for questions. And then hopefully by getting them set up properly at the beginning, then when it comes tax time, their tax return is much easier because all the data has been collected all year and coded properly. And so we can be a resource. And then when they are ready, so that, they need to spend their time focusing on business growth, and now they have enough cash flow, then we can just step in easily and take over in whatever capacity they want us to. So it's there's just a lot of different ways that we invest back, and it's exciting to be part of a firm that values that.
Totally. And I think it's such a great example. So Alex and I have been studying good business, social enterprise, all of the practices for almost coming up for a year. And of course, Delene, we've used you as a resource because what a beautiful example of good business. Everything from best places to work, you guys really value your culture, to like all of these forms of external good, whether that's volunteering, sharing space, sharing resources. So yeah, what a great example of a good business. And it looks like we have a question. So Delene, if you're a young person in your career, how do you recommend getting onto a board? That's a good question. That's also one that I ask.
Yeah, I actually do coach a lot of our staff about that. And some from time to time, in fact, just last week, I had someone reach out to me that had a board opening to see if any of our staff would be interested. And so I circulate that. For the younger staff in particular, I urge them to connect to YPAL. YPAL has I forget what they call it, a community day once a year where they have nonprofits come in and set up booths, and the professionals can go around and talk to each person and find out what opportunities are available. And a lot of those are board positions. And I think Leadership Louisville also has a matching program. And then the Center for Nonprofit Excellence has a matching program. So there are a lot of different ways that you can let people know. And I think even on LinkedIn, you can choose the option that you're open to pro bono board positions or nonprofit board positions. So there's a lot of ways that you can connect. And if anyone wants to connect with me, I'm happy to put them in touch with those different sources of matching. I think that there are a lot of needs right now in our community. And, I rarely find a nonprofit that's turning people away.
Yeah. And so, Delene, I know that you are a huge connector in the city of Louisville. I feel like if I ever need to know what's going on, I turn to you. So how has connecting been in a time like this? And what outlets, how are you adapting in your connecting with others?
So a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of video calls like we're doing right now. And, the challenge is that I don't sit still very well. So sitting at a computer screen and staring at the camera is not my favorite thing to do. But I do really enjoy the calls. Like, for example, one that kind of surprised me is Rotary. So I'm a member of the Downtown Rotary Club, which is the 14th largest club in the world for Rotary. And they are hosting their calls on Zoom now. So you have over 100 people every Thursday. And if you think about the demographic of Rotary, these are a lot of older people that probably aren't that comfortable with technology. And you see them, it's so funny. There's the Holderness family, I think, did a video about Zoom calls. It's so funny. I posted it on my Facebook, but you see all those little bloopers happening live, when you're in a call with that many people. But it's exciting to be able to see all those people and share a little bit of camaraderie. I am participating in the Network of Entrepreneurial Women. We still have our monthly meetings with the speaker, and those are online. The NABO Group, National Association of Women Business Owners, has at least 2 Zoom calls every week. One with a speaker and one just, I think they call it a sip and connect. So you just grab your drink or your beverage of choice and hop on the call and just visit with other women who are kind of dealing with the same thing. So there are a lot of opportunities I've found. And it can also, just like on certain days of the month, it seemed like everybody was having an event, and which one do I go to? Or do I try to go to all of them and just spend 15 minutes? It's the same way with Zoom calls. I'm starting to see them, all back to back to back or overlapping. And so that the same issues come up, interestingly enough. But what I've really enjoyed about the Zoom calls is I've seen, like, Leadership Louisville is opening up some of their micro learning to the public at large for free. And that probably wouldn't happen if it wasn't for us being online. And I think a lot of people, their schedule wouldn't permit them to drive downtown in the morning for a meeting or an event. And so that's opened it up. And then the other thing is they're being recorded a lot. So you're getting to watch all these things that maybe you couldn't participate live in, but you can still watch after the fact, which it doesn't always happen with the live events.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. I think that was one of the things I was most excited about, even though it's like a really dismal time. Just like all of these free courses and resources. And it's really exciting seeing everybody step up because we all have a part to play. And there's like so much learning happening just across sectors, across organizations, and just like to the public. So I totally agree. And what a great example of good business, right? And we're seeing it pop up everywhere. I think it like really brings me a lot of hope these days. So Delene, how would you describe good business?
So good business is, people, profit, planet. So being as intentional and prioritizing the ways of being a good citizen and a good employer and a good consumer, along with being a business that's seeking to make a profit.
Yeah, and I think we might have a little bit of a delay. But yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And that's exactly what we're doing here at Canopy is how do we leverage all of the components? So of the triple bottom line, we have our people, our planet, and our profit, and how it can all work synergistically. And I truly think that's the best type of business is uh, when you can honor and award your people and make them feel like they have a meaningful job. So we see this a lot, especially amongst essential workers. So these companies that have great cultures are doing well in the long run because they're keeping their people. You see strong governance practices, great external impact, and then again, inspiring leadership because these are scary times. I think we're turning to our leaders for maybe not answers, but the ability to co-create with them and learn from them. But yeah, let's see if Delene, because I'm sure Delene's answer is going to be a lot better than mine. Let's see if she's back on. And again, if you guys have any questions for us, please feel free to drop it in. But yeah, okay, cool. So any questions from the audience? Feels so weird not being able to see you guys. But yeah, how exciting. So I think we are still waiting for Delene to pop back in. But until then, we have another question. How is Canopy maintaining relevance with these Canopy cafes? Well, thanks so much for that question. I think it's just, again, the ability to connect and talk about these ideas that sometimes, I think I turn on the news and it seems really bleak, right? And like, what is the business case for good business? But I'm feeling really inspired and rejuvenated by these conversations of talking to multiple experts and entrepreneurs about, yes, good business is still relevant and it's still important. And it looks like Delene's back, so we can throw this conversation back to her too, because that kind of leads me to my next question, Delene. Is I'm so happy you're back, and I know it's just internet problems happening these days as well. But yeah, how do you find good business as relevant, especially in this post-COVID world? I don't know. Did she pop back out?
On my phone, and it looks like, so what happened is our power went off here. We lost power. Everything shut down and restarted. So yeah,
oh man, what's happening to get back on?
I'm trying to figure out. I'm actually holding my phone in my hand, but I show that my computer is back on. So I don't know if Ben, can you let me back in, or are you not seeing? Are you not seeing me on the other screen?
Hello, this is Ben Soley. I'm the man behind the curtain running all this stuff, and I just wanted to be able to talk to everybody on here. So, Delene, I see your other computer, but I don't see the device connected. Okay. So I think you would need to connect the camera and all the other stuff. So if the phone works,
it shows my light is on the camera, but I'll just stay on my phone right now. It's not the best. Can you see me okay on the phone?
Yep. Can see
You're
you
great.
fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Good deal.
So I was having some really good thoughts about just good business and how to support that in our communities.
Yeah. So, and I heard you ask the question about Canopy being relevant. And I think even more than ever, Canopy is relevant. If you think about what's going on with employers and employees right now, our employees are having to adapt to being much more self-directed, right? I mean, we're on Zoom calls with them and we're emailing, obviously, but they're working away from their office. They're having to keep themselves busy and productive and motivated. A lot of times, like I said, with child issues. And so the way you've treated and interacted with your employees all along, I think really sets the foundation for how that relationship is going to continue now that they're not there in the office with you. And I think if you've got a relationship based on trust and respect and kindness, then you're going to see those employees step up and continue to do what they need to be doing to keep your business successful. And I mean, even in the restaurant business, I mean, you've seen some employees where they were going to be laid off and they're like, no, we'll work for free until the cash starts coming back in. And I mean, they're out building, makeshift drive-through speakers so that they can start doing curbside pickup. So I think if you are a good employer and a good business, your customers are going to want to continue to support you. Your employees are going to want to continue to be there for you. And that is going to become even more transparent and visible during a time like this. So I think, and when we do come back online, or even right now, the nonprofits really need our support more than ever. Many of them have lost a lot of their funding sources. And so being a good business and continuing to support in those ways, whether it's through volunteer hours or through financial support, I think is more important than ever. So hopefully people are starting to realize even more than ever how important it is to focus on social impact in addition to just profit.
Right. I agree. And I'm really excited to see all of the creative ways to give back. So I think at the beginning of this, I was very much like the most important thing I can do is just get out of the way. But seeing like all the ways that I can volunteer my time, or support, or by resharing materials, all of those things make a huge difference at the end of the day. So it's been, again, a really good lesson in what part can we all play in this. And kind of what you're saying, when we all come back online, right? It's an exciting time. It's kind of like a catalyst almost, because we're rethinking everything. What role do you see good business playing in Kentucky's future, Delene?
I think, we are known. We've talked about the fact that Kentucky ranks low on the list for a lot of positive things and high on the list for some negative things. And I really think that this is a way that we can shift that whole dynamic and make Kentucky known not only around the nation, but around the world for something extremely positive. And I think that will lead to a lot of people maybe that want to work for a social enterprise, paying a little bit more attention to Kentucky and possibly looking to see if, this is a place they might want to relocate. I think social entrepreneurs in particular are going to have their eye on Kentucky once the word starts getting out about all the great environment we have here for social enterprises. And I think that, it's just really going to put Kentucky on the map. This global movement is inevitable. We're definitely moving more in this direction, and we would like to be on the front edge of that.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's been really promising too. I've been in Louisville for the past 5 years. I went to school here, and just seeing the interest and scale of social enterprise just in Louisville alone. Because you're right, it is inevitable, and I think people are looking for a way to match their purpose with this social change, which is business. So, yeah, thank you so much, Delene. And last call for any questions from the audience. Do you all have any questions for Delene? Well, if not, Delene, how can people stay connected to your work at DMLO, but also just all of the great work that you're doing personally?
So I am on all the social media channels, and I am more than happy to connect. I have learned that Facebook is my friend when it comes to business, and I actually probably have more connections, more business connections on Facebook now than I do personal connections. So connect with me on Facebook, on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram, and then of course DMLO is on all those platforms as well. Once we get back to normal, I have a website called morethanthenumbers.org, which has a Connected Lou blog. I use that Connected Lou hashtag, and I post opportunities to connect with people, events that are happening, again, opportunities with nonprofits, board positions, things like that. So hopefully once we get open again, that blog will restart and people can connect there as well.
Yeah. And Delene, thank you so much for taking time. I know you're second shift these days to talk to me, and I hope that, when it's safe, I'll be able to see you again in person at events around local. Yeah, have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry for the technical difficulty.
Oh my gosh, you're fine. Thanks for being so adaptable.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in with me. Technology problems are inevitable, and Delene dealt with it with way more grace than I usually do. So thanks again, Delene, for being on. We were talking about a lot of ways to get involved, even in a time where we're supposed to be staying at home. And I think COVID-19 has really shined a light on the importance of good business that really uplifts people, planet, and profit. But yeah, I mean, we are really depending on businesses stepping up right now and helping meet the need. So one way that we can, as individuals, support these companies is by signing Canopy's Charter for Good Business. You can find this on canopyky.org, or I think it's actually canopy.org. But yeah, by signing that, you are showing your support for these businesses that are having to change their whole operations to create PPE gear, show up for the community, keep their workers employed. So what an exciting show of support. And Canopy is also trying to hit 1,000 signatories. So definitely please try to help us out. And thank you again for tuning in, for always supporting Canopy, especially during a lot of our fundraising events. And we should be back in your feed soon, every morning at 10 a.m. Tomorrow's speaker is Ben Reno Weber, and you're not going to want to miss it. And we also have an incredible lineup of people for the rest of the week. So also check that out. Thanks so much for tuning in with me, and I will see you later.